So, I think I've made a video of that version. You see a picture there, right? It's me when I was a child. This is where they say we matched it to then, and it's around that time, right? And it's just pathetic. You know, what's happening in my brain right now? They try to find ways to create patterns, right? This is the people who literally torture children, do horrible things to children, filled with pedophiles. I'm saying like when I mean like all like almost like so many of these entities are filled with pedophiles, and I'm talking about those intelligence community. I mean, we're talking about DARPA, DOD, CIA. I mean, all throughout those entities. And you have these people who are trying to convince me, no, what we're doing, we're assessing, we're analyzing. Now, mind you, you heard this article coming out saying, why is there so many pedophiles? And these people are not even trying to, like, they're just downloading child porn on the government devices. Now, with me, what's happening? Because they do this pedophile type of torture. They want you to subscribe to this pedophile type of torture. They want you to be like, you know, what's happening to you is you naturally. Remember when you felt this way when you were a kid? Right? This is where it's like what we're doing is matching. And you see who's talking. You know these people are just like childlike people who just been empowered. And it just makes no sense. Of course, I know it's what you guys are doing to me. It's not me when I was a child. And it doesn't even make sense. Try to say, no, we matched it to you as a child. Now, what's happening too is, I said it many times, when I was a kid, there's the damn thing I did one time, right? That's when you know, first of all, kids are impulsive. They can do stupid things at one moment and never think about it again. It never happen again. That shows how impulsive a child is, right? But they're trying to create patterns. Because not only I was a child, not only is not the exaggeration they want, but it was something that just happened one time. As a child can do something stupid, not think twice about it, and that's that. Now, I'm talking to people, right, who are doing their best to make you subscribe to these pedophile things. They torture children. I heard somebody scream, and they're gonna rape you, because they're trying to get you to see this in this fashion where, forget about us being in a program that is killing and torturing children, torturing them sexually. Forget about us working for pedophiles. Listen to our passion. The passion is the passion of covering up what they're part of. So me, as a kid, doing the stupid thing I did one time as a child, 8th grade, just turned 14 years old. I don't want to go in descriptions what I did, but let's just say at that time, there was a time when I did a lot of things to myself. Around that age, as a boy, you become very aware of yourself and you constantly do certain things to yourself. I'm not going to continue to go further, but there's one thing I did, and it was so stupid, but it's something I did to myself, and it was just a one time. It was a one moment just to show how impulsive it is. Now, these people are trying to create patterns, because what's happening is they do the pedophile type of torture. They're renowned to manipulate people to think in these ways, and they're like, okay, we're going to try to make it seem like this is just, as illogical as it's going to sound, we're just matching to how he felt when he was a kid. Very illogical on its own. But even that is falsified, because they're not making me feel like what I felt like as a kid. They are making me feel stimulations that not even that. Not to me as a child, as on the spectrum that is. But they're trying to make it feel like it was how I felt when I was a child. I don't care. I don't even look at a kid and get this disturbing stimulation. This is what they make me feel today. And you hear people in the hallway just making noise campaign, because these quote-unquote assessors, analyzers, are trying to make you subscribe to this. So it's falsified. I'm not, these things, of course, I'm not going to subscribe to. It's disgusting. But they also try to combine with feelings of me as a very much younger child, like pre-10 years old, like 10, 11, 9, try to create something that's similar to something like at that young. Can you imagine being in your 30s and somebody's like, we're just kind of matching it, and then going to something like you 10, 11, 12, even younger, 9 years old? Try to find how we're going to make you believe these things. You in your 30s, somebody who is renowned to be doing pedophile type of torture is trying to make you subscribe to this pedophile type of torture, and it's telling you that was you when you were like that young. Now, the patterns they try to create is even disgusting. There's one moment, I just turned. It's basically not to maybe a few months when this picture was taken. And they're trying to turn this thing into something else. This is the moment endearing. and they try to change it into something sexually stimulating. But they try to use the sexual stimulation of when, for example, and I don't want to be graphic, when you, and please understand, these people are trying to get you to accept these things. This technology has the ability to manipulate your brain and to make you think like these things are natural thoughts. So they're gonna try to create feelings that they can try to copy and manipulate into something else. And they try to make me think of when you're like a boy. I don't want to be graphic, but this is how illogical it gets to my brain. And you have people in the environment trying to make me subscribe to, like, when you're a boy, and you probably, if you have a child, or if you're a child at some point, if you're a boy, you remember like humping a pillow when you're like, young preteens or just, around that time. They're trying to kind of create something like that, but plant it in memories with children, or try to make you feel this. Like, it's just disgusting. And they say we matched it. Now you're in your 30s. Can you imagine having to force some 30-some-year-old thinking about like things like that? And say, no, wait, you're a pedophile. It takes a level of illogicalness, of disgustingness, to stoop to this level of retardation. And you hear kids like, somebody screamed out loud 2 seconds ago. And they use the childlike individual because they think, because if they send a childlike individual, it's going to kind of counter the level of illogicalness. I know these children that they send are not just kids that come up with themselves. Obviously I know they're told to do certain things. And it's like, no, it's something. What you did as a kid is something. No, what you do to children is really something. What you're part of is something. What you do to torment these children is something. What a kid who just hit 14 years old, who do something stupid impulsively to himself, is just a child doing something stupid. What you guys do to children, and how you destroy these kids' health, torment them, it's something. So I'm not going to let you live this fantasy. I see them for the trash that they are, and I can't stop thinking about what they do to children, while they try to exaggerate what I did as a child, and try to make me think that I'm going to forget that when I see them. And they try to distance from that. Oh, it's our money. No, trash is the money that's used to torture children too. I'm sorry for being... This is what really makes me angry. Not angry, but just like, do you think I'm going to let you escape? You see this picture? Can you imagine trying to get you to somebody to... No, it's you when you were like... And you in your 30s. It's embarrassing. And that's what they use childlike individuals to buffer the embarrassments. Now, they're going to do the theater. The theater is going to be the torture. This trash who torture children are going to torture me in terrible ways to counter the fact that they torture children. It's nasty to imagine these people. As much as they manipulate, they try to recreate this moment and try to create some different... No. A kid can do stupid things. Children are children. Especially at that age. A boy at that age do stupid things. And you're trying to create patterns. Because this moment, it was a moment that happened once, and it was that. Never thought about it. And they try to create, we try to create pattern. Oh, but remember the year before? Remember when you kissed this kid on the cheek and whatever? And try to put stimulations. It's so sad. They're trying to find ways to implant these things. Because there's no pattern. It shows the impulsiveness of a child. And these people who are trying to make you subscribe to these nasty pedophilia things, first of all, exaggerate what you did as a child, try to create false patterns, and now try to make you believe that this nasty stimulation that you're experiencing is you as a child. These people who torture children, women, and do the pedophilia type of torture, renowned for this tactic of forcing people to think in this pedophilia type of torture. Now, obviously, they know this. I'm not a genius, like I said. I'm not an idiot, but I'm not a genius. Meaning that this is obvious. Meaning that these people obviously know that. They're going to play accordingly. They're going to act accordingly till the end. They're going to dumb themselves accordingly. And then when they want me to be gaslighted, they're gonna show the intellect, the way they're able to understand an individual. They want to show that part, and then go down to the retardation where they have to be the spectrum they have to make themselves be to make somebody subscribe to this. This is what I have to deal with. You see people who down themselves down to a point of no return, and then try to get back to being a normal thinking individual, just so they can gaslight you about this dumbed down reality they've created. This is the name of the game. So I talk to somebody, I hear her, she sounds very smart, very intellectual. I'm like, oh, I'm interested. But then dumb herself down into making you accept these things. This is what they do. It doesn't take a genius or analyst to see, obviously, they're doing things to manipulate you. And on top of that, it didn't help that these agencies, this BuzzFeed article came out exposing this trash for the pedophiles that they are. They knew. It was going to come out regardless. They knew it was going to come out, but this is what they do. There's a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies while they try to turn me into a pedophile and talk about me as a kid. Going as back as me as they were going back as me as what? Just before was the youngest they've gone to. It was me 8, 9 years old. Now they're going to as young as me, just turning 12 years old. Like literally, wait, was it literally 12? Yeah, just turning 12 years old. I just remember, just literally trying to create this thing. Give me stimulation. 12 years. 2 months after turning 12 years old. You know the logicalness of being in your 30s and having people who are saying that this is us just not manipulating, but creating, analyzing it, assessing you to make sense of this match. Look, you understand? It takes a level of spectralism or shamelessness to dumb yourself down, and then at least, I respect these people that do it nonstop. They can maintain this dumbed down version. But imagine then somebody who's trying to make themselves smart, or not trying to make themselves be the people, the rational people that they usually are, and then go back into this level of spectrumism. This is what I'm experiencing. And trying to disorient you so much to get you to subscribe to these things. Imagine that. The same people filled with pedos in all these agencies. And you know what their satisfaction is? Their validation? Oh, they're going to rape you. Well, listen, you are raping women every day with this technology, with your money. Every day there's women that are being destroyed, fried up, forced to think in this disturbing pedophilia ways. I don't know if they say the same thing. Well, it was you. We matched it to you when you were like 7 years old. We matched it to you when you were 10 years old. Like, I don't know what, but they do the pedophilia type of torture. Now, for me, I'm here to help them. I think this is also my purpose. To not let them escape into something else. So they understand when that moment comes for them, remember, this dying man, right? Because they're saying that I'm dying, but at the same time, I believe them. I'm being radiated. I can feel my organs now acting properly. I feel my bones softening. I have my teeth, my brain. And I understand that there's so much I can take until maybe I can't even speak. I think it's my purpose to show these people who've called themselves gods, who've deluded themselves in their little fantasy, who've gone into the la-la land of fantasy, where they're somehow like protecting the kids. I'm their pedo, it's their money. To show them, no. I know you say that to agitate me, but let me repeat your fantasy that you were thinking about escaping into. No, not with me. I'm sorry, I'm not that. You know what you're part of. You know you guys are filled with pedophiles. You know you torture children sexually. You use the same money that tortured children to torture me. You're not analyzing, assessing, or pairing, or matching. You're manipulating me to react toward children in these ways. And your illogicalness and the way you have to dumb yourself down in order to make me accept these things and try to go with this illogicalness of stupidity, is unbelievable. And they're making me think of that another moment. It's the same moment, actually. I remember it was, how old was I? Literally, when this picture, 4 months after this picture was taken, about four months or so after this picture, I remember I was on the computer, right? I'm at that point just turned 13 years old. You gotta understand, I'm in my mid-30s, huh? I'm on the computer. I'm a kid excited to be on the computer. There's this little girl. I used to live at this host family, and this little girl, she comes, she wants to be on the computer. And I remember, she was so adorable. As I started kissing her on the cheek, she's so cute. They're not trying to give me some nasty stimulation. They're trying to give me this weird feeling, these disgusting stimulations, making me think, the nanny wasn't there, so you was like, no. Matter of fact, I wanted the nanny to be there so that she can take the child and can let me play on this computer. Now you understand, this is me when I'm 13 years old, right? And you hear these people saying, they're ready for you. These people will torture children. They're delusional. They really think that I forgot that they are here suffocating children. You hear the noise campaign. This is some things I want to be heard. Can you imagine? These people are the same people who torture children, saying that they're ready for you. Try to give me these feelings, or try to create some feeling, or mimicking a feeling of some sort of me when I'm 13 years old. Try to give me this weird, it's just disgusting. And you hear, and they like to use childlike people because they think that the childlikeness of them, I'm gonna forgive the level of spectralism they're part of. I will never subscribe to that. These people are not daring. They torture children and women, and they do the perfect type of torture, and forcing you to be like, we're just assessing that moment when you're no. This is a moment you try to turn into something else. You try to add something to that. So what was it gonna do? You understand? There's this creating something that's innocent, truly innocent, and try to add sexual stimulation. It's disgusting. Disgusting. Matter of fact, there's another moment where they try to not bring that again, is when at the same time, I remember we're about to go to church, right? I'm just turning 13 years old. It's me, the little girl, and her father. We're about to go to church. I see the little girl, the dad is there. I look at her, she's so adorable. I kiss her on the cheek. And that's that. The dad is like, sweetheart, you're so adorable. So a version of that. Adding different version of that, adding sexual stimulations. Disgusting. Disgusting. And imagine having in your brain those moments played with. As a kid, this picture, 4 months after this picture was taken. And you hear these people there, they're waiting for you. I don't know if it's a child. Most likely it could be a child. They usually use children because children can dumb them. Children don't understand how embarrassing this looks like. The same people who are torturing children are forcing men and women to feel this disturbing pedophilia ways are trying to get you to accept this thing. They have no shame. The worst part is when you see those grown people try to say, our kids, our children. Get the F out of here. Whose children are being tortured then? Whose children are being suffocating? Do you think I'm going to let them live their fantasy? I will never let that happen. If you're trying to make me believe that what I'm experiencing right now is the same thing I'm experiencing about 4 months after this picture was taken, you are delusional if you think I'm going to let you subscribe to that. From people who do the perfect type of torture. To all my target individuals, do not subscribe to it. I will continuously bring that to reality. They are giving me different version of that moment, of those moments. Try to create false patterns because there's no patterns. There's just an impulsive moment that happened when I was 14 years old as a child that they're trying to create into something else that I have to exaggerate. And now, as a 30-some-year-old man, I'm supposed to subscribe to this pedophilia type of torture that they've been renowned to be doing to people. I will never let them live their fantasy. This moment with this baby, when I was 12 years old, this kid that came and kissed on the cheeks, and what they try to add their versions of things and try to you enjoy. It's like, what? These people are pedophiles. These people are not trying to create patterns. They're not trying to look at patterns. They try to create patterns. I'm hearing this child that was trying to sound, or whatever she is. I don't know if she's a child, but somebody who's contracted to do these things, to make me subscribe to these false patterns. Can you imagine? These low-life bottom feeders that even utilize these childlike individuals to make you subscribe to this pedophilia type of torture are trying to get you to subscribe to these things. Do you know how many times they slam the door, try to make me subscribe to that? Me knowing what they do to children? They're like, no, there is. Sorry. There is what? The pedophilia type of torture? Are you saying that? No, I know what you guys do. I understand why they can hire and contract the people like you. Because they don't want you to be logical. That's why when people are contracted that are intellectuals, they have to dumb themselves down. You know what they were trying to do? There's this moment, again, let me just say that again. When I was just turned, you see that picture? 4 months after this picture was taken, I lived at this family. And they had like a 3-year-old baby, right? I just turned 13 years old. I'm on the computer. I'm excited. I'm not used to be on the computer. I'm playing this computer game. She comes, right? As I'm saying that, my neighbors are coming, trying to make noise campaign. The same neighbors who are being contracted by people who who torture and do rape, tormenting to women and torture children sexually. These neighbors are trying to stop me so I can feel guilty for this falsified reality. These people who are involved in a program that is literally inclusive of torturing children sexually, where they find a bunch of agents from all kinds of agencies, DARPA, DOD, downloading child porn on the computer. They want me to subscribe to this pedophilia type of torture, and they want me to subscribe to these things. Now, they know that I see them for what they are. That's why I take pictures of them and put them on my videos. They want that moment when you see this picture, 4 months after I took this picture, when I'm on the computer, I'm excited. I've rarely been on the computer at the time. It's kind of early 2000. This little girl comes. She's there. She comes. She's like, oh, I want to be on there. It's like, oh, it's okay to. And I'm like, oh, I kiss her on the cheek. And, they're trying to create this moment and give me sexual stimulation. Mind you, I don't want to be graphic, but at that age, you're not even in a state where you can have stimulation, or you even, like, there's nothing you can do as a child. They're trying to change this moment, and this is why I hope you can hear the noise campaign. They want this moment to be another a pattern. You heard this. This is a contracted individual that works in a program that tortures children. They want me to subscribe, and I'm glad they made the noise campaign, because it kind of gives you the idea of how they want you to subscribe to this thing. This moment when I'm 13 years old and this 3-year-old kid, and I'm kissing on the cheek like that, try to create some sexual stimulations. Instead of just when you have that feeling when you see something very cute, you just like try to turn that into sexual stimulations. And then this finally, the nanny came and take her away so I finally can play with this computer. Do you understand? They try to say, oh no, you wanted her to not be here so you can do what? Kiss her more on the cheeks? This is delusional. While these lowlifes who are assessing me have been renowned to do this pedophilia type of torture. Actually, funny fact, and I don't want to bring it, I remember the mother. Now, this is something I don't want to talk too much about it, but the mother is somebody I have thought about it as a teenager. This is reality, but they're not assessing. They're trying to manipulate. They're trying to make you subscribe to these pedophilia things. To all my target individuals, these people have no shame. You heard them doing the noise campaign. These people who are quote unquote protecting their children, they're not protecting their children. They want you to accept this pedophilia type of torture because they're getting paid and contracted by the government who torture children. That torture children sexually. Who like, oh no, we knew. They try to agitate me, but they know that I see them for the pedophiles that they are.